Hi, I'm Pastor Kurt, and this is your 5-minute Bible study. Today, we're going to look at John chapter 16, verses 1 through 33. Now, this section is part of Jesus' last night with his disciples, so he's talking to them about his upcoming death. He's also telling them about the Holy Spirit, and I mentioned the Holy Spirit a couple of videos ago. Jesus is reminding them that he's not going to leave them orphaned. He's not going to leave them all alone. The Holy Spirit will remain with them. Now, what does the Holy Spirit do? Why is the Holy Spirit important? Today, there are some Christians who talk a whole lot about the Holy Spirit. There are other Christians who don't talk about the Holy Spirit that much. But the Holy Spirit is important because the Holy Spirit is the one who reminds us about Jesus. Jesus said that the Holy Spirit will take what is mine and share it with you. In other words, the Holy Spirit is what reminds us of what Jesus said. Okay? We don't have Jesus with us in the flesh talking to us like those original disciples did, but we have the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit reminds us of what Jesus said. It is what makes the gospel make sense to us. Makes Jesus' message make sense to us. We see this really play out in the Pentecost scene in Acts 2. This is what the Holy Spirit does. It reminds us of what Jesus has said. So Jesus tells the disciples that they won't be alone. The Holy Spirit will be with them. The Holy Spirit will remind them of what he said and taught them. The Holy Spirit will bring them comfort. Well, that's great and all, but the disciples still don't quite understand. They don't quite get it that Jesus is going to die. They've heard his words, but it hasn't processed for them. So they're trying to make sense of this. They're like, what's he talking about? This dying and Holy Spirit and all this kind of stuff. Jesus takes his time with these disciples. He's very patient with them, and he tries to help them understand, right? This is the Holy Spirit at work, helping them understand what he's talking about. In the same way, we can see that happening today. There are some times that we don't understand what Jesus is talking about, but then there are some times that we get it. We do understand. It's like that light bulb moment, that aha moment. That is the work of the Holy Spirit when we get it. One thing that Jesus tells the disciples here is that things are not going to go easy for them, right? They're going to face some hardships in this world, and the world is even going to rejoice. The world is going to push them down. The world is going to celebrate that Jesus isn't here anymore. But that's not the end of the story. Suffering and pain and death are not the end of the story. Jesus compares this to a woman who's giving birth. He basically says in the birthing process, it's really painful, but as soon as that baby's born, the mother forgets about all the pain because there's new life. Jesus says that new life is coming. Yes, there's hardship and pain and suffering right now. He doesn't deny that, and he doesn't want the disciples to deny that either. But he's reminding them that it's not the end of the story. You know that I'm about to die. I've been telling you this. I've been preparing you for this. It's not going to come as a big shock to you, but it's going to hurt because it's death, and death hurts. But it's not the end of the story. It's like the woman giving birth. New life will come. Because of that new life, Jesus then gives his disciples peace. He's trying to comfort them, which is incredible. He's the one about to die. And yet here he is trying to comfort them. Today, when we think about someone dying, usually it's the other way around. Usually, it's the person standing by the bedside who's trying to comfort the person who's dying. Here, Jesus, the one who's about to die, is comforting those who are still alive. Jesus is giving them his promises, his promise of the Holy Spirit, his promise of new life, his promise of peace. He reminds them that things are going to be hard for them. They are going to get persecuted. The world is going to hate them. But, and then he has this wonderful line, but remember, I have overcome the world. There's another promise, right? Jesus is laying out all of these incredible promises to his disciples right before he dies. He is comforting them and reminding them that yes, life is hard. Yes, I'm about to die, but that's not the end of the story. The story continues with new life, and it's new life for you. Just like it's new life for you who are watching this video. Even though the world today is really hard, even though life can be hard and we still experience pain and suffering and death, Jesus says that's not the end. Jesus gives you all of these same promises. There's your 5-minute Bible study. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.